everyone, welcome to the Dirt Trail Running Podcast. I'm Coach Loretta. I'm here with Coach Lindsay and our special guest, Scott McLean from the University of Michigan Medicine. And we're going to talk about the Sunbeast initiative that he's leading up and some good information and places that he's going to be this year. So welcome, Scott.
Thank you. Thanks for inviting me. This is really great.
Yeah. So I know Scott because our daughters were housemates in college and they ran in University of Michigan Run Club together. And so that's pretty cool. And I also often see Scott on the trail while I'm running because we live really close to each other. Actually, one year we happened to travel to Boston together. We happened to be on the exact same flight, which was fun.
Yeah, good times.
Yeah.
I
How many
love it.
times have you been to Boston? I know it was a lot, but I can't remember.
13.
Nice.
Wow.
That's
Yeah.
impressive.
Very
Yeah.
impressive.
You ran this year, the most recent as well,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
When COVID hit, for some reason, a little light went off in my head that I should run that every time I can. So it's been
Mhm.
6 in a row now,
Nice.
and
Awesome.
I'm just trying to requalify every year so I can just
Yeah.
keep going.
Right.
Is
Oh,
there a
that's
specific race that you qualify at, or do you chase a couple different ones, or?
Usually it's at Boston.
Oh,
So if I
I
can
love it.
awesome.
if I can hit the time there, then I'm good for the next year. I usually
Oh,
do one more fall marathon usually.
hmm
That's awesome.
Often now with my daughter who has started to do marathons. So
Very cool.
Yeah,
we'll be
that's
running
cool.
Detroit this fall.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah,
Awesome. So, tell us a little bit about Sunbeast Initiative, how it came about, what's going on with that.
great. Yeah. So this started just for a little background. I'm a head and neck cancer surgeon, and my practice over the last 20 years has really been taken over by skin cancer surgery. So a lot of people referred to me for mostly melanoma, which is the worst skin cancer to have, but
Mhm.
also their squamous cell and basal cell are two very common skin cancers. But one of my patients was a young guy who was also ultra trail runner and marathon runner, and he was a medical student when I met him, and he had melanoma. And just in getting to know him really well, we always talked running, and obviously got rid of his melanoma for him. But over the years, we just were talking about prevention methods and what little information there is out there, especially for endurance athletes that we know are exposed to hours and hours of UV radiation. And so we had this idea, why not build a program that we could take to big events and just try to educate the running population on how important it is to protect yourself. And so we started out trying to go to Boston because that's where I was going. And we thought maybe they'd let us put up an education tent and just, give out information, but they declined.
Oh,
Their
So,
loss.
yeah, we may get there. I keep applying every year. So maybe one day they'll let me show up there. But Andrew had been out to UTMB with his brother, and he was actually support crew for him out there several years ago. And he said, "Hey, let's apply to UTMB in Chamonix and see if they'll let us come out there." And so we applied, and it was amazing. They ended up hooking us up with a dermatologist in Paris who had a similar idea to try to bring some education on UV protection to that population. And so we started working with her and we developed this Sunbeast program. There's a website now, which is Sunbeasts, it's plural.org, where people can get information about UV protection. And so last August, we went to Chamonix and put up a little tent right outside the packet pickup. And we were just totally overwhelmed with the response that we got. Literally every athlete stopped and wanted to talk to us, and their crew stopped because the crew obviously, is very invested in protecting their athletes. And we were giving out sunscreen and arm protectors and neck gaiters and hats and all kinds of stuff that we'd gotten donated. And it was just this really fun event. We collected a lot of data on, what people are doing currently and where we see areas for improvement.
Mhm.
And so I think what we've learned so far is most people know that they should protect their skin, and then most people don't do what they say they know they should do.
hmm
Yeah.
So
Yep.
probably around 30% of people actually adequately protect themselves, and the rest do a little bit, but really not enough to provide really good protection.
Before we came on, we were kind of talking about this behind the scenes, and recently I had Scott on my school community, and we had this conversation. So ever since then, he's been in my head, like the good angel on my head, like, Loretta, are you putting your sunscreen on? And I have been much more diligent about doing that.
Yeah. There's actually a study that was done of people in the farming community. Somebody had this idea that if they just put sunscreen dispensers out, everybody will use it.
Hmm.
And what they found was some people used it.
Hmm.
Everybody knew they should use it, but very few people did. And then when they put someone out to like educate them and say, this is why this is important. You really don't want skin cancer. It's terrible. You're going to lose parts of your face or
Hmm.
your shoulder. Then the numbers went up and they started using it. And
Yeah.
so we think that our effort could be, we can be at these races and just, it's like that angel on your shoulder, right? You're just putting the word out and you're just reminding people.
Right.
And if we could get that message out, we think we could change the culture a bit where it just becomes a part of your routine.
Yeah.
Right. I think you have something there. I have athletes that say that they hear me in their races, eat, drink,
Yeah.
like we're there, that little reminder because, it's something that we've really instilled in them. So more
Yeah.
conversation about this hopefully will likely get that rolling. So you're going to be at Western States this year. That's coming up pretty soon, and that's going to be really awesome.
Yes, we applied to go to Western States. They have like a medical research group
Hmm.
similar to UTMB. And so we applied to go out there and provide education. And then we're going to actually be on the course and we're going to be just observing what's the baseline right now? What does the real world show that people are actually doing? So we're gonna just document, are people wearing arm sleeves? Do they have their hat and sunglasses on?
Hmm.
There's going to be sunscreen sitting out at, we're going to shoot for the aid stations that are, peak UV hours between 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. or so.
Yeah.
And we want to just see the sunscreen sitting there. Are they using it? Are they reapplying? Is their crew telling them, put this on, protect yourself?
Well, keep
Yeah.
an eye on Lindsay and Josh. They'll be out there.
I'll
Make
be
sure
out
that they're
there.
doing
Yeah.
Oh,
it.
you'll
We're
be there.
big on
Great.
sunscreen. We're vain in LA. We are big on sunscreen. But I kind of have I don't know, like in LA we're also like LA is known for being vain and super into the health and wellness and everything. So people are using sunscreen, but you also have LA that's super, it's controversial. I don't want to say health because I don't believe this, but what is your response to like people that are anti sunscreen due to the chemicals in it? Like what's there?
Yeah.
That is huge in LA too.
Yeah, it's a great question and something that people always ask us when we talk about this.
Yeah.
So what you're probably referencing is some of the sunscreens are chemical formulations that can be absorbed into the
Hmm.
bloodstream
Yeah.
and you can actually detect it. So there's been both blood and urine samples have been collected and they've been able to detect these chemicals in your system. And
Hmm.
so people are worried that that's going to cause cancer.
Hmm.
There have been lots of studies to try to connect that, being able to detect that to some form of cancer, and that's never been proven. There's never
Yeah.
been any cancer associated with those chemicals.
Yeah.
There are some animal studies that have been done where they like feed this chemical to the animals at a super high dose. And if you do that, um, the most common thing they see that happens is an endocrine disruption, so you
Hmm.
can get some hormone imbalance. But even then, the cancer reactions are not
There.
very high and not very repeatable.
Yeah.
So, although in theory that is a concern, in practice that has never been proven to be an actual problem.
And obviously the skin cancer concern way outweighs the
Yes.
chemical concern.
Yeah, so that's the other side of it is proven that if you protect yourself,
Hmm.
cancer, skin cancer rates are much lower.
Right.
And the best data for that comes out of Australia, where they have
Yeah.
really great public programming and a lot of effort in place. And they've been able to lower their new melanoma rates
That's
by
wonderful.
having people protect themselves.
Yeah.
So
So what
we
kind
should,
of lotions do you recommend? I know we talked a little before about, sprays versus lotion.
yeah.
Just about that a little.
So a lot of people like the spray because it's very convenient. You just spray it on and go. Um, the studies that have been done with that show that a lot of that spray doesn't actually make it to where you want it to go.
Yeah.
So unless you hold it really close and then kind of spread it around, you kind of miss a lot of spots with that.
Yeah.
So um, what I always say is use the one that you're actually going to use.
Hmm.
So you have to try them out because the other thing people tell me is, well, I don't like it. It makes my face all greasy and I just don't like how it feels. The answer to that is to go try some other ones out because
Hmm.
there are hundreds of products out there and many of them are very light. They're like super silky and you put it on and your skin feels really good.
Hmm.
So if you find one you like, you're more likely to keep using it.
Yeah. Yeah, I like
Um,
the sprays as well, but I only like the sprays because it does feel light. So I spray it in my hand and then I use it like a lotion.
yeah,
But I like
yeah,
the way that it feels lighter. Just, sometimes the others can feel cakey. But really big in LA too is the zinc based ones. And some of them can leave like a white cast, which is a problem. But do
yeah.
you find that the zinc ones are just as effective as the more chemical formulated ones?
Yes, for sure.
Okay.
So the zinc and the titanium both reflect the sun.
Hmm.
Um, and you're right, people don't like them because they're really chalky and they
Hmm.
leave that white sort of film on your skin, but they are very good at protecting the skin.
Hmm.
For people that have concerns about the chemicals, that's also a very good option
Hmm.
because it's not absorbed.
Hmm.
So you, although I don't believe that those chemicals cause cancer, if you're worried about that, which
Hmm.
is fine, those zinc base can really alleviate that concern too.
Got it. I have my dad is like a fixture in my life, just in ultra running. He's always with me when I travel and stuff. He, in his later years, has become anti-sunscreen. I don't know why, what he read, but I will give him credit because I mean, he's bald. He always wears a big hat and long sleeves. He's always completely covered. So like I try and like give him a little slack on that. But does
Yeah,
that actually help? Do you have to have like the UV shirts or does just a long sleeve help?
that's a great
I
question.
can't believe you just called your dad out. I hope he's
Oh, I
listening.
will call him out until he starts wearing it again. I'm like, wear your sunscreen, but whatever.
Well,
Yeah,
he's your crew man.
I
Geez,
know. He's
this is
just covered
risky.
head to toe, which okay, but I need you to wear sunscreen too.
yeah, protecting your skin with clothing actually is better than
Okay.
sunscreen,
Okay.
honestly.
Go,
So
Dad.
the recommendations are a wide brim hat
Yep.
because it gives you some shade, it protects your ears, sunglasses. If you get the big sunglasses, you're protecting your mid face. So
Yeah.
the volume of sunscreen needed goes down proportional to what you're wearing.
Hmm.
Um, the UV protective clothing is better
Uh-huh.
um, because what it is, it's really tightly woven.
Okay.
So, if you look at your sleeve and you can see through it, then
Hmm.
you can imagine that the sun can get through that.
Got it.
Um, the ones that particularly say UPF on them, those have been tested to prove that the UV rays don't get through it.
Cool.
So essentially, it's the really tightly woven polyesters and nylons that protect the best.
Got it.
But if you have a favorite shirt that's long sleeve and that's what you're going to wear, it's better than nothing, and it will block a lot of the UV.
Hmm.
It's just that if it's not tightly woven, then some of it will still get through.
Yeah, I'm super fair skin. My mom's Mexican descent, so she's really dark, but my dad comes from a family of redheads, which is why I'm always on him on the sunscreen. But
Hmm.
I will, think this, and then I love to run in a sports bra for a short run and lather up, but sometimes I'll throw on, a long sleeve shirt and I'll still get burned here.
Yeah,
So I guess that's just the fabrics not being, you
that's
know,
right. Yeah,
yeah,
the fabric's not tight enough.
Got it.
Yeah,
Okay. So
that's
I'll
what it
layer
is.
up with the sunscreen and then put the shirt on. For
Yeah,
people like me, that's so important. Like I just burn.
yeah, and that's true. You know, darker skinned people can tolerate a little bit more sun exposure
Yeah.
than fair skinned.
Hmm.
But those people also can get skin cancer
Yeah.
from too much UV exposure.
Yeah.
So, and even people that are light skinned that tan easily, so they don't burn, but they tan.
Hmm.
Tanning is also a sign of damage to the skin.
Yeah.
Um,
Is this you, Loretta? Can tan
That's
easily?
me. That's me. I tan really easy. And so, it's easy for me to say, I don't need that. And then my daughter, she burns really easily. So she's always like been hyper focused on making sure she gets suntan lotion on because she will burn.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's so interesting. I had a question kind of about just we've had a lot of like celebrities here that go through the melanoma. I don't know if you've heard of this case, but Teddy Mellencamp, who's John Mellencamp's daughter, who was on The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, she's been super outspoken about her diagnosis, and it spread to her brain even after treatment for like 2 years. She's
mm,
still alive, thank God, but she's been like really big advocate. It might be someone you can talk to, but she's incredible about speaking out about skin stuff here. But kind of what that kind of makes me wonder, how much does genetic play into getting skin cancer? Like, if you have no family history, are you still really at risk of it?
yeah. So family history definitely plays a role.
Hmm.
People that have first degree relatives that have had melanoma are at slightly higher risk.
Hmm.
Um, if there's a lot of cancer in a family, particularly breast cancer, pancreatic cancer, and melanoma,
Hmm.
that they should have genetic testing because there can be an underlying mutation that makes them susceptible
Oh,
to melanoma.
so we can
So
detect that just like the breast cancer gene.
yeah, yep,
Wow.
yep. So that can be looked for. Most people don't have that defect though. So
Okay.
most of the melanomas that occur are due to UV exposure,
Hmm.
and it's damage that's done to the DNA in the cells of the melanocytes. Those are the cells that make pigment. So the DNA over time it can tolerate some damage, which is why we don't all get skin cancer.
Hmm.
But if you were to test somebody's skin, almost everybody has DNA damage from the UV
Hmm.
exposure. And we can tolerate some of that. But at a certain point, too many mutations add up, and then maybe there's a specific mutation in a cancer gene or in a cancer prevention gene, and then that allows that cancer to start growing.
Wow.
So those people that have that in the family are sort of, they've already got a set of problems, and then they get
Hmm.
more damage on top of that, and now you've got a problem occurring.
Got it.
So talk to us
And so,
about what if we have a mole? What are the things that we should look for?
That's a great question. So, people with lots of moles are also more susceptible to developing skin cancer. So, you want to know the moles on your body and you want to be able to observe them over time. And there's something we call the A, B, C, D, and E of melanoma. So, A is asymmetry. So, if a mole is perfectly round and symmetrical, it's probably okay. If it's got a weird shape to it, one side is different than the other, then that should be looked at and probably biopsied by a dermatologist. B is the border. So we like to see a nice round, smooth border. If it's jagged, then that's a concern. C is the color. So very dark moles probably should be looked at, or moles with varying color where one side of it is kind of a light brown and the other side is really dark. Those should be sampled.
mhm.
D is the diameter. So anything bigger than a pencil eraser, you should have a dermatologist look at. And then E is evolving. So if a mole is changing over time and getting bigger or changing shape, then that's something that should be biopsied.
Yeah.
Thank you. What
I've
about
had,
skin tags? Does that play into that at all, or is that completely separate?
Skin tags mostly are benign,
Okay.
mhm.
but some of the squamous cell cancers can start out looking like a skin tag.
Okay.
So if you have a skin tag that's enlarging, or if it's bleeding, or if it's itching, then those should be looked at and probably just get it biopsied to make sure it's not a cancer.
Okay.
Right. It's
Yeah.
and I kind of get, the yearly skin check. They did recommend every 6 months, but is
Yeah.
that should we be doing 6 months, especially for runners outside?
For people with higher risk, yeah, every 6 months is the
Okay.
recommendation.
Okay.
So higher risk would be if you have a lot of moles or if you have a lot of UV exposure or family history, then yeah, it should be every 6 months.
Okay, so every 6 months, got it. I've had one, biopsy just, off of a mole and all good. But yeah, and I'm sure they don't want to tell you, but that thing leaves a scar.
Yeah, it
They're
does
like,
leave a little shallow scar.
yeah. I was like, my goodness, you like scraped off a big chunk of my leg.
Yeah, yeah, it does.
But worth it, worth it.
There are things you can do to fix that, but
Oh,
most
it's fine.
people, by the time they're all healed up, they're like, leave me alone. I
Who
feel
cares?
good.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
fine. Okay, every 6 months. I have just so many sun questions. Let's see. So every 6 months on the skin checks. Are there, I know like you mentioned Australia, and I lived there for roughly like a year. And I know that like the UV is way higher there, correct? Like,
Yeah.
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 Is there certain parts of the US that are similar or no?
Yeah. As you get closer to the equator, so
Hmm.
in the south here, the UV is higher.
Okay.
So
More.
the interesting thing is the melanoma rates in Michigan are kind of high. And
Mm,
you would think we're north, we don't get a whole lot of UV, for the whole year. The winter months, particularly, we get hardly any.
yeah.
But one of the other major risks is people that live around here, as soon as it gets warm out, everyone is out just baking in
Yeah.
the sun. So,
Yeah.
so what happens is you get these really intense times or like spring break for us is in the spring. We've all been cooped up all winter and we all go south somewhere and then just lay out by the pool or the ocean. And so not only is the sun cooking you, but you're getting all this reflective light coming off. And so we think those intensive times people overdo it and you accumulate a ton of damage.
Yeah. I remember being a kid. I'm 35, so it had to have been like early 90s. But I remember vividly going on vacation, and it was almost like it's so terrible, like a badge of honor to come back like blistered.
Yes.
Like that's so bad but
Yeah.
like, is that something that's still currently happening, or do you find that more like people my age with their kids are more knowledgeable on these things? But I remember everyone in my class, like the more sunburnt you were, the better. Like you would be
Yeah.
peeling, the blisters, like all of it. Like it's so terrible.
Yeah. There's still not very good messaging for kids.
Ugh,
So there still is this belief that either a burn or a tan is some mark of honor that look
yeah.
at me, I look so good. Because the messaging just isn't there yet. And so
Yeah,
that's one of the things we're trying to do is get into the school systems
yeah,
and give talks like this about the importance of protecting your skin.
yeah.
Because kids don't believe their parents. Your
No,
parents can
Right.
tell you, hey, you're going to get cancer later. And they're like, you're old. I don't believe you.
yeah, yeah,
Right.
all of it.
That is
But
interesting though. But in the 80s, we were doing the same thing, Lindsay. We were
Yeah.
slathering up with like baby oil or something and like
Oh
going and
my.
laying on our roofs, like let's get closer
See,
to the
we didn't
sun.
do that, so maybe it's getting slightly better each time.
But as a mom, I was very cautious about,
Yeah,
I was putting it on my kids, maybe not on me, but I was putting it on my kids.
right. And I remember being a teen too, and maybe now that I think about it, maybe my generation was the worst. And thank God I didn't partake. But I've never been in a tanning bed, but the tanning beds were so popular among the teenagers in my like millennial age group. Like, how bad are those? And I know that they're still around, but they are less in LA. Like, I don't know if they're
yeah,
still a current problem.
they're definitely a problem. I hate the tanning bed industry. I
Oh,
think it's basically like back when people were advertising that smoking was good for your lungs.
yeah,
I mean, those people knew it wasn't good for you, but they were
yeah,
trying to sell a product.
yeah,
And this is the same thing. There's no doubt that tanning bed use increases melanoma rates.
Yeah.
And I have people all the time in my practice that say, I was just at the gym and the tanning bed was there, and
Oh,
they're advertising as this healthy thing for my skin, and it's not.
no.
I forget the exact statistic, but it's like a 5 to 7 fold increase in melanoma rates in people that regularly use tanning beds.
Yeah, it
So
seems like
it's a
so
huge
concentrated.
problem.
Oh
Yeah,
gosh, that's
yeah.
terrible. Yeah. Thank God I've never been in one. I'm claustrophobic to begin with, but and they've kind of disappeared from LA. Like I have noticed that like you can't find a tanning salon anywhere, which is I think a good sign here at least.
That is a good sign. They're still around here in Michigan, and
Hmm.
people use them like before they go on spring break. They'll say, "Oh, I'm going to go tan at the tanning bed for a week." Well,
Yeah.
you're just amping up the UV damage.
Yeah. Oh, that kind of leaves this question. I hear this all the time too, with like people saying, "Oh, I just need a base layer to prevent me from burning." Is that a thing?
No, no, the base layer is just more damage that you're causing.
Yeah, I assume
So
so.
you just need to protect your skin and don't worry about tanning
Yeah,
at all.
yeah. Now, being the vein LA again, people think that they, look better and more toned with a tan. How unsafe or safe is like these self tanners? What are the chemicals in those doing to our body?
Oh, good question.
That's a great question. I have not seen any data on the chemicals in those.
Hmm.
They're basically a very thin paint, if you want
Hmm.
to think of it that way. I don't think they provide any UV protection.
Yeah,
So if you do like a spray tan, you still can get burned under that.
yeah,
So it's not a replacement for sunscreen or
mhm,
protective clothing.
yeah.
But I haven't seen any data that those cause any problems either.
Okay, yeah.
So
Maybe that
probably safe to use, but you still need to protect your skin.
got it.
What
Yeah.
kind of SPF should we be looking for, and how often should we be reapplying? Especially, a lot of our
Yeah.
audience is doing ultras. We're doing 50 miles, 100 miles, 200 miles. We're out there for hours and hours. It's sweating.
Yeah. Yeah.
The minimum recommended now is 30, SPF of 30, and you want something called broad spectrum,
Hmm.
which is to cover both UVA and UVB, which are the two big offenders. And almost every sunscreen now is broad spectrum.
Okay.
But minimum of 30, 50 is a little better. So if you can find a 50 that you like, that's probably a better move.
Okay.
And then the recommended reapply is every 2 hours.
Hmm.
Um, if you're sweating a lot, it can come off quicker.
Hmm.
Some of the ones that say they're waterproof will say for up to 80 minutes.
Yeah.
So that's not quite 2 hours.
Hmm.
But we also have to live in reality and say how, you're not going to stop every 80 minutes.
Hmm.
Maybe every 2 hours you're hitting a stopping point. So aid
Yeah.
station or yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the recommendation is every 2 hours. And
And
to find one that's waterproof, it does make it last longer.
okay. And what is there any benefit to hitting that 100? Like you see these crazy like 100 SPF plus, like is there any benefit to that or is it just null at some point?
Yeah, it's kind of like an exponential curve. So
Hmm.
at 30, you're blocking like 97% of the rays, and at 50, you're blocking like 98%, and at 100, you're blocking 99%. So you're
Okay.
getting just these tiny incremental um, improvements.
Okay. But
But
50 is a
really, if
safe bet.
say again,
50 is a really safe bet.
50 is a very safe bet.
Okay.
Yeah,
Those are
yeah,
accessible. The hundreds are hard to find. And I'm like, should I be like
yeah.
searching
And
out 100?
and they're more expensive, and
Yeah.
so 50 is very good, and even 30 is blocks most of the UV rays.
Okay.
So I
Sounds
have a
good.
Yeah,
question for you, Lindsay, and will be interesting for Scott too. So you've done bad water, you've crewed bad water. What do
Hmm.
you see going on there? Are people more diligent about it at that race? Because obviously you're into the hot sun.
Yeah, but again, I find more there. We're all like most of us wear minimum clothing in every other race, but Badwater, we are all covered up. Like we look
Mhm.
like, the true desert people out there. And I never wear a hat. I just my head, it's the whole thing. But in Badwater and in the Keys, I chose to wear a hat. So like I think we're all extra aware out there. And your number one goal is to stay cool, and having long clothing that you can soak actually helps. But yeah, every time I've crewed or that crewed me, I mean, you can stop every half mile if you want to. So we're constantly putting on sunscreen. The little areas that were exposed on my legs constantly hit with the sunscreen, all of that. So, but there is an interesting thing that happened at Badwater to me. There's this really hot, I mean, it's all hot, but there's this really, really hot part kind of at the basin when you're running through like a dip in the valley called Panamint Springs. And it's the hottest part of the race. And you hit it usually at the hottest part of the day. And my ankles would blister, I think, from the pavement heat.
Interesting.
Is that causing damage too? Like, it happened twice.
That's a different damage.
Okay.
So that's not damaging the DNA, but
Yeah.
it's damaging the
Yeah.
connections of the cells.
It's so weird. Yeah, because I was, completely covered and sun protected, but both times I think just because the heat of the pavement was so hot. I mean, my dad stuck a thermometer down there and it was well over 200 degrees.
You're like boiling yourself alive.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But I think honestly, if you had to say like some of the best sun protection you'll ever see, go to Badwater.
Yeah, when it's that extreme, then you
very
have to respond that way.
Yeah, everyone's covered in like reflective clothing and oh, that kind of brings up a question. Like, we're kind of used to like the white colored clothing as far as like being more cooling and maybe better against sun resistance. But I've read things like for people that live in the Middle East and things like that, they do the dark clothing. What is that? Like, is that for cooling? Do you know anything about that?
So what that's doing, the lighter colors actually reflect some of the sun.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're all in white or silver, for example, you're going to reflect more of the UV rays right back to your uncovered skin.
Uh-huh.
The darker colors will actually absorb it.
Yeah.
The downside of that is then that's going to heat up more.
Okay.
So it's a trade-off.
Yeah.
They do say the darker colors are better at UV protection.
Uh-huh.
But again, you're on a scale of, tiny improvements. So if
Okay.
you've got a nice UPF shirt that's white,
Mm-hmm.
that's going to be great.
Okay.
It's just going to reflect a little bit more, which is going to keep you cooler. You
Mm-hmm.
just need to make sure that wherever that's reflecting to, you're protecting that area.
You doing this reminds me, and I always think about this when I drive, because we always see the studies of the left side of the face that are worse. And I'm so aware of this in the car because it's true. It's like it's beating down on your face. Do you see that in your practice a lot? Like the left side is generally the more problematic side?
I don't see it a lot,
Mm-hmm.
but I have had some pilots and some truck drivers actually that have come in and have had a left-sided skin cancer, and we all theorize it's because that's where the window is.
Right.
Clearly you're getting more exposure on that side if you're in a vehicle all day. The windows do block some of it.
Yeah.
But if you've got the window down, then you're getting full exposure.
Yeah.
That
So
makes sense.
interesting.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about, also Lindsay's done a lot of mountainous races. You're getting up there closer to the sun, I guess. I don't know, thoughts on that?
Yeah, so altitude does increase the UV exposure.
Yeah.
You're closer to the sun.
Mm-hmm.
So there's less filtering from the atmosphere.
Yeah.
There's also this reflective problem. If you're in a mountainous area that's snowy, you're getting reflection off the snow.
Yeah.
Likewise, if you're on the ocean or close to water, you're going to get a lot more reflection. And then very sandy environments, that sand will reflect a lot of UV rays. So in those environments, there can be as high as a 25% higher UV exposure compared to a darker or a green leafy environment.
Wow. Yeah. When I did Leadville and at Hurt 100, which is not at elevation, but they did the same thing. They handed out the full size Tannery sunscreen, and I thought that was great. And I tried it and I actually loved it. It sets really well with sweating. Like it was a great product. I need to buy some, but it was a great one. And I was happy to see that like Leadville actually put it in the bag that you get, and as well as Hurt 100. So I saw that and I was like, wow, that's the first time I've ever like received a sunscreen, not just a sample, but a full size one. So maybe it's
Yeah.
starting to spread a little bit of the knowledge.
Right. And this year,
Tannery is,
Sunbeasts will be right next to Tannery at
Yeah.
yeah,
Western States.
yeah, they're going to be at Western States. I'm looking forward to meeting them, and we're going to have our tent right next to theirs for the expo. So
That's awesome.
um, hopefully we'll build a relationship with them and maybe
Yeah.
start giving out more sunscreen.
Right,
So
that's nice. And that's actually what I'm currently using is the Tannery that I
I like
received at
it.
Western
Yeah.
States. Yeah.
It's good
How
Oh,
long
enough.
is,
nice.
does it expire? Does suntan lotion expire? Do you like listen to the expiration on the bottles?
Yes, it does. There is an expiration date on the bottles. What happens with the chemical ones is the chemicals can break down and then they're not as effective.
Okay.
So I would follow those labels. Storage is also important. Like it should be stored in a, room temperature, not like
Your
in the
car?
car where it's baking at 180 degrees all day. And then you get out. I don't know if you've ever done that and you go and use it. It's like
Pours out?
separated.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Like
it's
ketchup.
less effective. Yeah.
I in the ultra world, I think something, and I'm sure you've touched on this with all the races that you've been to, but I find it a problem because I am fair complected, and if I don't have a crew, I'm constantly searching for sunscreen if I don't have it in my bag. But I find myself having to and I'm in a rush. Like I'm trying to get a good time. I'm trying to get in and out. It's
Yeah.
not readily there. Like
Yeah.
that seems to be my problem. They have it, but someone's got to go search the back. Like it's like they're gatekeeping it, and I'm like, charge me $5 more and make it
Yeah.
a part of like sitting next to the Coca-Cola. Like have it out and
Yeah.
ready. I think that's a big thing.
Yeah, that's part of our effort with this Sunbeast. We've been trying to meet with race directors and say, listen, this just needs to be sitting out in a big
Yes.
pump bottle of it, easy to find. And so at Western States this year, that's a big effort that we're making, is we're trying to have it right at the aid station when you come
Yeah.
in. It's easy to see. And we're going to be standing there watching and, cheering for people to use it.
Yeah.
So,
Who cares about your race? You got the sunscreen.
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
You get a
We're thinking about
buckle.
the long run, the long race. When
Yeah.
you're 70, you don't want to have to see someone like me and get
Right.
part of your face
Yeah.
removed.
I'd like to see it well labeled because one time I came into an aid station and I needed something for chafing. I was chafing extremely bad, and I came in and the people handed me a tube of stuff. I didn't know what it was. I used it. It ended up being like Ben Gay or something. My
Oh, no.
chafing was on fire.
Oh my God,
It
yeah.
was the worst.
Like wrong substance. But yeah, I think that's probably like that to me would be the biggest game changer in like actually stopping to put on the sunscreen is just having it there. Because if I've got to wait 5 minutes, even myself, I'm probably not going to use
Right.
it. Like I'm just going to say
Right.
whatever.
Yeah.
Like it's not worth. I mean, it is worth it, but in my brain when I'm running, it's
Right,
not worth
right.
it.
You've got to go.
Yeah. So that's the other thing with, people that have a crew with them. We're trying to also educate the crew.
Yeah.
Your runner doesn't want to slow down. Like, have this ready. They're going to need it, and just make sure they get it on. And
at Badwater, we do that like crewing and when I've ran, don't even ask me, just apply it. Like it's
just
a
do it.
non-negotiable. I don't care
Yeah.
if you get it in my face, I'm gonna be mad for 1 second and I'm gonna get over it. Like
Right.
Yeah.
Because it's definitely not something that's on the top of a runner's mind. I do
No.
have that in my ultra marathon checklist of things to bring,
Yeah.
but I guess as a coach, I need to be more diligent about, do you have your sunscreen in your in your kit?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we talked about this before the Reddit. So if you go back like 20 years or so, nutrition wasn't on anybody's list.
Right.
You just went out and ran, and maybe you did some water or some Gatorade back then, but
Yeah.
nobody was doing gel packs. Nobody was doing electrolytes. And now that's like standard. You'd
Right.
never go run one of these things and not have a nutrition plan.
Right.
Yeah.
So we're hoping that just by talking in forums like this and going to these races, we can get to the point where protecting your skin is part of your plan.
Right.
Yeah.
I love that you
you're
say
gonna-
that because I feel like people are like, I'm like so tough. I don't need to drink for a whole marathon. I don't need
Yeah.
any water. I don't need any food. And I kind of feel like that's the same thing with sunscreen. Like,
Yeah,
hey, I don't need this. I'm tougher than that. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
just this like weird mentality about it. So
Oh, I hear that every day in my practice here in the clinic. It's these guys come in, they're like, I was a young guy working construction. I always had my shirt off, and they tell me, hey,
Yeah.
that's not good for you. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm tougher than you. And
Yes.
Stop
now, and now
being
they have
tough.
cancer.
Yeah,
Yes.
stop being tough. Like this is a
Yep.
crazy concept. Um, Another thing I'm thinking of, a lot of people think because it's a cloudy day, they don't need it, but it's not true, correct? Like you still need.
Correct. Yeah, the UV rays can pass through the clouds.
Mhm.
And so it does get filtered a little, but not proportional to what you feel. Like you
Okay.
feel that coolness and you think the UV rays are there or not there, but they're still getting through and you can still get a very bad burn even
Okay.
on a cloudy day. Yeah.
Like at what time of the day? Because I get told that same thing too. Like, well, it's like at late afternoon, moving into evening. We're gonna go out in the kayaks. We don't need anything on. Like, is there a point of the day that we're like, okay, we're safe?
Yeah. So later in the day is definitely better. The peak UV hours are 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., at least where we are. That can shift based on where you are in the world.
Mhm.
But there is something called the UV index, which you can use. And and the scale is from 0 to I think 11. But anything above 2, you probably should have some sunscreen on. So if you're going out on the late in the evening, you could look at your weather app on your phone. It'll actually be on there. Almost every weather app has the UV index on it.
Yeah.
And there are some that you can specifically download just for UV index. But take a quick look. If it's above 2, you should put some sunscreen on.
Okay, that's
Got
good.
it. All such really good information. I just use like a daily one on my face every day. That's also important, correct? Like,
Yeah, that's super helpful. If you just, as a baseline, you put something on.
yeah,
And then when you're going for a workout, you know you need to reapply something different.
Ooh,
yeah.
I have one. What about your lips?
Oh yes, I'm getting lip
Yeah.
freckles. I've asked my dermatologist and they look okay, but that's a product I don't see a ton of. I mean, I know there's a couple of them, but with only like SPF 15, is that enough?
I've seen the same thing. There are lip balms that are SPF 15 mostly.
Hmm.
So if you could find a 30, that's better, but 15 is better than nothing.
I think maybe the what is it, the Sunbum might have a 30, but again,
Yeah.
they're harder to find. Maybe we need to like really promote that as well. Or I know some people, like I know a
Yeah.
couple redheads that do straight zinc on their lips when they go when they
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. There are some people do the zinc, especially on the nose and on the lips, because those two areas are more prone to burn.
Okay. Yeah, I've
Yeah.
noticed in the last like year I've got like a couple lip freckles happening. So I probably should be more I'm good with my face, but I'm not good with the lip part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Find something that you like using and
Yeah.
start using it.
So along the lines of freckles, I've got a ton on like my shoulders and my nose and stuff. Is that like I've had them since I was a kid, but is that also like sun damage? Are freckles a direct sun damage?
When you get more freckles, it's a sign that you've had a dose of UV exposure. So
Got it.
yeah, it's telling you that that's
Yeah.
some damage is happening.
And it's so weird in LA. Freckles are in, so I'm in fear that people are now trying to get them through the sun. Like it's so
Yeah,
weird these trends that come and go, but people are obsessed with freckles right now, and I'm like, okay, well, I think
yeah.
it's sun damage.
It is it's a sign of damage. I mean, people that freckle, and I'm one of them, you can't control all of it, right? You do as
Yeah,
much as you can, but you're still going to get more freckling in the summer than you do for us here in Michigan, at least in the
yeah,
winter.
yeah.
So it is a sign, and I use that on myself. If I start to see some freckles, I'm like, oh man, I missed a spot.
Yeah,
You
it
know?
is a helpful gauge when I see a freckle. I'm like, oh gosh, okay. And then one more question on that, or not really, but the eyewear, that's important too, right? Like our eyes can be damaged by,
Yes, you can get photo damage to your the irises of your eye, so it's important to wear sunglasses.
and I
Yep,
assume same with skin, lighter eyes are more susceptible to it.
yep, that's true.
Okay, good
Yep,
to know. Got it. I could
yep.
keep going, but I think I've got all my main questions answered. Keep you here all day.
Are we missing anything that you wanted to share, Scott?
There are a couple other questions some people ask. One is about vitamin D,
Oh, yes.
Hmm.
because I've had people say I can't wear sunscreen because I'm vitamin D deficient.
Hmm.
You should just replace that with your diet or take a supplement.
Hmm.
Um, the vitamin D production that happens in your skin requires especially for light skinned people, requires a very low dose of sun exposure. So like 5 to 10 minutes is enough.
Yeah.
only like 2 or 3 times a week even. So
Yeah.
wearing sunscreen at peak hours and while you're, really out in the sun is not going to lower your vitamin D level. So
Yeah.
that's one of the wives' tales that I've heard a lot.
To piggyback on that, also a very popular thing I see on socials and out here is like this idea of sun first thing in the morning to like, reset your circadian rhythm and like grounding and all of that. Like unfiltered sun, like that's kind of like the word that I'm hearing. Like 30 minutes of unfiltered sun is safe. Is that a myth? Like, should you always have sunscreen on, or is it case by case?
I would look at the UV index.
Okay.
If it's low, like 0 or 1, then yeah, that's great.
Okay.
Probably nothing to worry about. But if it's
Get up
above
early,
2,
really
then
early.
Yeah, get up
yeah,
early.
it's like just as the sun's coming over the horizon, it's the furthest from us, and there's more filtering from the atmosphere, so probably a little safer.
Probably if the roosters are crowing, you can be,
Yeah.
you'll be okay.
So funny, like these concepts that like the rest of us that have been doing for life, like it's just becoming trendy in LA, like get up and see the sun. It's like this like it's like, wait, us runners have been doing that for a very long time, but I'm glad
Yeah.
other people are seeing it. But
Yeah, we were onto something a long time ago.
funny. Yeah, anything else that people ask that we missed?
There is a supplement for people that have had skin cancer.
Mm-hmm.
It's called nicotinamide.
I
It's
heard of it. Yeah.
yeah, it can help lower the incidence of new skin cancers.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't prevent the need to protect yourself. So you still need to do all of that. But so people that are at high risk, they've had a couple of skin cancers. If you take this supplement, nicotinamide, it's 500 milligrams twice a day. It can
Mm-hmm.
lower the risk of getting a new one.
Got it.
So, because people are, can I just take something and it'll protect me?
Yeah.
And that actually was a very good study that came out of Australia. So it was reproducible, and they did it in a big population, and they had a placebo control. So one of the groups got a sugar pill, and their cancer rate stayed the same, and the group that had the nicotinamide had a lower rate. And then they actually reversed the groups, and it changed. So it was a really, really well done study.
Yeah.
To show that if you take this supplement, it can be helpful.
Very cool. And then one more thing.
So many questions, Lindsay.
I know. I'm serious. Like sun is such a thing because I live in a sunny place, I guess. Like I'm just constantly seeing different things on my socials. I came across, and it sounds so wild to me, but it might be related to that or not. But I didn't even know this exists, but I found out that there's a pill that people are taking to increase the melanin in their skin. Have you heard of this or seen this?
I haven't seen that one.
Oh my gosh. And I went down a rabbit hole the other day. I don't know that it's probably not cleared in the States, but in overseas, people are doing this.
Really?
And you might start seeing this because I've now seen it in LA, like be a thing. And
I'll look that up and see what I can find.
Please, and report back because I'm so curious. And it's probably nowhere near safe or anything like that. And people, of course, I'm sure are abusing it. But yeah, I saw this the other day and I was like, this is insane. But I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know if that could somewhat eventually help, like
Maybe.
more on the medical side of things. But I know now people are using it for vanity.
Interesting. I just saw an article in my social media on eating grapes can actually help prevent skin damage. But then I read the study and it was like this huge volume of grapes. So like not a realistic amount, but there may be something there that could be explored. And there's no doubt that eating a good diet, it boosts your immune system, and your immune system can help protect you against skin cancer developing. So
got it.
Good healthy diet is always a good idea.
Good.
I
think this crowd knows that though.
Yeah, I hope so. Awesome.
Okay, that's great. Anything else that we're missing?
I think we covered a lot. That was really great.
Good. Thank you.
Coming up next weekend, you can find Sunbeasts at the Huron 100, which is a local race near me. The trail goes right beside my house practically. So that will be fun. What are you going to be at an aid station, or where will you be?
We're doing two things. We'll be at the packet pickup at the small expo they have. So we're going to do some education there. And then we're going to be at one of the aid stations. Not sure exactly where it is, but hopefully it's between 10 and 2. So the peak UV hours. And
Yep.
we're going to be with a big pump bottle of sunscreen, encouraging people
Nice.
to put it on. So
I know a great place to be. Last year I was the aid station captain at the Pinckney at the depot. It was super hot and sunny there. We were
Yeah.
we were in a lot of sun. Yeah, that's around
Yeah.
mile 47 and a half.
Okay.
Awesome.
That's on my run. That's the 5-mile mark from my house.
Yes,
So
yes.
Very cool.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
So, well, again, thanks a lot for coming.
Yeah,
If you want
you.
more information, go to sunbeasts.org. There are handouts you can hand out if you want to provide education to other people. And there's a fun little quiz you can do to find out what kind of sun beast you are. And a new one that's coming on is for the Huron 100. Remind me what that is.
The crane?
The crane, the Sandhill
Yeah.
crane, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Yep.
awesome.
Awesome. And I'll see you at Western States. I'll come say hi.
Okay.
Yes,
Yeah,
make
that'd be
sure
great.
you guys get a selfie.
Get a
We want
photo,
that for
yeah.
our social media.
Yeah.
Yeah.
awesome.
You can be
Awesome.
our ambassador to
Yes.
All in. Yeah. Sun, again, I love sun protection. I don't want to age, so I'm good with aging, just slowly.
Yes. Yeah,
Awesome.
that's the other side benefit is
Exactly.
slows down the aging for sure.
Definitely. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you. See you
Thanks,
guys later.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.